Caroline, after the assassination assassination attempt, can Trump get what we call the sympathy vote?
Well, Tanvi, Trump was already ahead in the polls, but now the odds are even more in his favour since this weekend's violence. Trump will officially become the GOP nominee for president at this week's Republican National Convention after that incident in which he narrowly escaped an assassination. The four-day event kicked off on Monday, 2 days after gunmen opened fire at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, hitting Trump in the ear and killing at least one person in the crowd. The convention will feature televised speeches by rising Republican stars and Trump's choice for a yet-to-be-announced vice presidential running mate, while also highlighting the party's stance on topics such as abortion, immigration and the economy. Delegates from around the country will come together to officially nominate Trump during a roll call vote. US President Joe Biden is still likely to receive the official nomination from fellow Democrats to run for a second term in a virtual vote that's planned for late July, despite questions over his age and mental capability. The nomination could happen at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August 19th. But Biden is under pressure from lawmakers, donors and activists to drop his re-election campaign in the wake of a bad presidential debate performance. However, Biden insists he's not going anywhere and says he's best equipped to beat Trump. Well, DD India's Benji Haya joins us now live from Washington, D.C. So, Benji, a lot happening in the last few days, but the political action will continue in Milwaukee as investigations by federal agencies are underway. What's the latest and what do we know about what actually happened in the shooting?
Well, there are multiple questions that have come out of this incident, Caroline, and two of them are very much at the fore of people's minds in the nation capital. The first is how this was allowed to happen, and the second is why. The head of the Secret Service is briefing lawmakers today, and investigations into the motive and the planning of this attack will, I'm sure, take many days, weeks, months even. In the meantime, Donald Trump's security has been enhanced. What we know so far about what happened in this situation is that the shooter positioned himself on a rooftop outside the perimeter of the event. Now, that would mainly be, therefore, outside the jurisdiction too of the Secret Service, and it would be up to law enforcement to provide security for that particular spot. Nonetheless, we're learning in past hours that the Secret Service was aware of that rooftop, that it had identified it and its vulnerability before the event. And of course, the footage and pictures that we've seen since show that there is a direct line of sight from that rooftop to Donald Trump, something that US Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas says should never have been allowed to happen. So questions for the Secret Service to be answered, and also investigations ongoing into the potential motive of the attacker, a 20-year-old Pennsylvania resident, Thomas Matthew Cook. It is not known truly what his political affiliations are. It may very well be that they kind of defy an easy partisan narrative. He's shown to have supported both sides, and the FBI will continue its probe with the help of his family into how he was able to take up that position and what inspired him to do so. What we know about the individual is that he wasn't on the radar of intelligence services in the US. There were no signs of mental health. And we're also told that there were no co-conspirators, at least that we know of so far.
Thank you, Benji. That was Benji Haya reporting live from Washington. Well, as Benji mentioned there, Thomas Crooks, named by the FBI as the shooter in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump that killed at least one person, was reportedly bullied every day in high school. A classmate of Crooks described the 20-year-old as an outcast who was always alone. Another student also said he thought he had been in the school's rifle team. Crooks was shot and killed by the Secret Service seconds after he fired shots towards the stage where Trump was speaking in the state of Pennsylvania.
I didn't have any interaction with him, but he was like a kid that was always alone. He was always bullied. every day. And you know how kids are nowadays, so they're going to see someone like that and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever. I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Well, T-shirts featuring a picture of US presidential candidate Donald Trump just after he escaped that assassination attempt have gone viral on an online merchandise platform. The owner of a clothing merchant on a Chinese platform similar to TikTok called Douyin said around 40 of the T-shirts were sold within 24 hours. Prices range from $9 to $40. Well, the Kremlin has said that Russian President Vladimir Putin has not contacted Trump after the assassination attempt on that Republican US presidential candidate and has no plans to do so. But asked if security measures around Putin would also be beefed up, the Kremlin spokesperson said Putin had an appropriate level of protection and all necessary measures are being taken. The Kremlin said on Sunday it did not believe the Biden administration was responsible for Saturday's assassination attempt on Trump, but accused it of creating an atmosphere that provoked the attack.